It's going well. Hi. Nice. So, hi Charles. I'm capturing kind of a hello and an introduction. So, this is Charles' studio, and we are guests here, so we will be gracious in our visit. No, it's perfect. Barely hear it. So, cool. We're going to swing around. Oh, wow. Wow.
So, a little intense. Colors changing a lot.
Wow.
Well, and that's the whole thing, you know, when you, the slow buildup of having to get 3, 4 layers, and in some places a lot more. So now it really starts to take shape and develop itself out. And right now, it's way too bright in the studio, quite frankly. So the colors that I am shooting for to get are way elevated. So right now I'm just sort of filling in a couple little detailed areas. And it was kind of funny because yesterday, as I knew I was going to start to get into, you know, the smaller fine thing, I was blowing through some of my really fine small brushes. So I called my people in the cities yesterday.
What does it mean blowing through? Pause. What does that mean?
Wearing them out.
Okay. Okay. I wasn't sure. I'm like, what does that?
So,
why and how do they wear out?
Well, these are sables. So this is like, you know, it's not Kolinsky anymore, which, you know, I'll show you one right here.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, these brushes I'm using, these are all natural hair. I'm not sure exactly what they're using right now, but possibly, well, the best ones are made with sable, Kolinsky sables, and there's a ban on the Russian sable right now, so it's very difficult. And if you can get them, they're incredibly expensive. And so I don't know the substitute further using, but this is what I'm painting with right now. So these, as you really work through them, you know, you know, on a panel in particular or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, you'll wear them out to the point where all of a sudden, you know, you can see the point is starting to go on that. You see there's a difference. And so this will function for something else, but for the kind of line drawing I'm doing right now, I need to get a very fine line.
So it's like having a really sharp pencil.
Correct,
like one.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why you see a variety of brushes. So a lot of this painting has been done with sables because I wanted to work with a different kind of texture. Or I mean, you know, I've got a nice panel feel, and so to keep things tight and all that, and plus I'm just slowly working with light. And again, like right now, I've been, oddly enough, for as crazy as the weather has been, I've been praying for a couple of really low cloud days, so it really would knock the light down. But right now we have a lot more here because of the reflection of the snow. You know, all the snow on the ground is causing a lot more light in the building than what would normally happen. And so when the building was back in Little Falls, you know, there were those big pine trees that were just on the north that were probably about 40 feet tall that at least would have brought, it would have cut away any of the reflection coming from that field. And then of course right here.
So really how you're painting, like you've worked on this painting for now a couple years, right? Like it's been in the works for a couple years.
Correct. And
the actual painting part's been about a little over a year now, I think.
Well, it's March, so yeah, it would have been March last year, yeah.
So you're always having to, because of that seasonal change, particularly in the hemisphere and how far north you're in, you're always having to accommodate for that, no matter. Interesting.
Well, yeah, and the problem again right now is we have a heavy snow accumulation still on the ground, which by this time of the year would be gone, and we would have a lot warmer temperatures outside than what we're experiencing right now. So that would really cut down on the light. So like right now for the next couple hours, it'll be really bright, but as we move into the afternoon and the sun starts moving off that way, the light will be back to where I really want it to be, you know, by mid-afternoon. So I'll take off about 2 o'clock, maybe a little early, go to the gym, hang out, work out for a couple hours, and when I get back, then it'll be where I want. Because I was in here last night till 7:30, and this time of the year it's that evening light that I really enjoy. So that's where we're at with the still life, and then there's still a lot of little intricate things that have to happen yet. And so one thing I was going to talk to you about, is that thing that's on that little packet that's on his helmet. Now, two things. One, we could just leave it as is, which probably, in all honesty,
that little thing.
Right.
Nope.
Otherwise, the only way to do all that writing would be to photograph it, turn the panel sideways, because, for instance, if you like go there, if you look at it straight on, it's like reading anything.
Right.
If you read this, it's going to be, well,
Yep.
it's going to be harder to read. But you you photograph, turn it sideways, start looking at it, then you could put it in. But it's like, I don't really think it's needed.
I don't want to distract. Part of me wonders, do we start to distract?
Yeah, I mean, it would be, probably in the painting more of a distraction. Now I can just play, I can play a little more of the light on it, which is what I would rather do, because we've got a nice concentrated area of things right here, and I think putting a whole bunch of writing over there, your eye, even if, because the bottom line is you would be able, if you look like that, you'd be able to read it, because I would do it in that kind of detail. But the real reason here is like, why?
Yeah.
It's a matter of, well, okay, we know what it is. It's I think it's the bug repellent one. But the bottom line is it's not necessary to really be there, because again, it's like, okay, so I'd be showing, well, guess what, people, I just spent all this time and I can be really cool and write this all out and show you how good I am, but I don't think that's necessary.
That's probably not our goal.
No, because the other point too is in the explanation of things, you have to look at kind of abstracting. And so yesterday what I did was I wanted to really play off of a lot more. I hadn't touched the background in a while, so I kind of went in, and again, it's too light, because all of a sudden this guy is showing up kind of weirdly. That's like white. And so I'm still deciding how to play off a little subtleties in there, because I don't want to take that out. I like that draped feel in there, And so, there'll be enough as far as little distractions with the little white stars on the flag, because you have to at least put some kind of little semblance in there. But and then the rice, I pretty much have figured out how I'm going to be putting that in. It's going to be just a lot of little cross hatching and stuff like that. But overall, again, there's paint everywhere now versus the last time there were areas that when you were here there was not. Like, for instance, on the flag, that had only been like one layer of the color, and of course it's highly exaggerated right now. But what you're starting to see is, when you look at the flag where the light is hitting to get that satiny kind of feel, there's clearly red in that color. And so you can see I'm starting to introduce it up top there to get that feel, but I don't want to have it be too intense. I'm just slowly playing into that. So that's giving you that sort of sense. And it's been a lot of fun to kind of judge, with that. Then of course the other thing was like having to just rethink that, because if you remember how that just, with the weight of that box over time, it just sort of pushed that back down.
Yes.
And I didn't want to change that, because I like the way this is standing. And so when this piece gets done right here, it's going to have this, really nice feel. And I like the way the whole thing is kind of coming together. And you can see, as far as any little detail, just little chain links in the rosary and whatnot. But there's just a lot of little things that I want to continue. Like, for instance, the colors on the ribbons are all right there, but now we need to describe a little bit better, like the light. And then the other thing is, so like,
yes.
As it gets darker, this, it's a little too much right now, but you can see, like right here, it's almost like a bluish light.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to make sure I get that in there right, and just catching it on that stuff, and that's much better in the later day, because it's going to get a little more intense, where all of a sudden this will wash out in about an hour and a half.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of watching what times of the day you want to get it right. And then the other thing that's really interesting is when you play with these little buttons and reflections. I mean, really cannot see the detail on, but you have to suggest. See, if you look over there and just sort of abstract your vision, and you can see what I'm playing with. I'm starting to do with those little things. It's just, and then even like right there, and slowly playing and suggesting stuff.
Okay.
And there's more been done on the gun barrel since the beginning. I got to get those reflections and all that stuff in there, and then there's this little shadow that you can see right there that has to come around right there, and then play some subtleties. But again, it's all those little bitty things. And then even what'll make a big change is if you look at the airborne, you see how much less the AIR is seen.
Yep.
Look over there. Okay, so that the light has to be the shadows you brought down. So it's all those little nitpicky things. Like right now, I'm adjusting that color because it's a little too intense right now, so I have to bring that value down. So I'm just starting to work on that. And so again, it's just those little adjustments that you keep playing with, and that's what's been the beauty of this one. It's allowed me to sit down and have all of these little intricate areas and really play with them in a way that they're all there, but no one's all of a sudden like popping out at you and coming off the canvas in a way that or the panel the way it should not be. So the matter is having it all harmonious, because when you look over there, it's a unified feel. I mean, you can catch that this stuff is in the foreground,
Yep.
and then that's moving back, and so there's just, again, each time I keep playing with it, I'm bringing more and more of the reality and the presence. And again, the other thing is, this is not in a high contrasted light where your lights are super, super bright and the darks are just black. We're, at the Studio See Me, we always work very much in the middle tone realm. And so when you look at my still lifes, the drama is not just this really harsh, stark contrast, because it's a lot more difficult to work in a middle tone than it is to work in high contrast, because if you got something that's really bright against something that's really dark, obviously it's going to stand out. So it's playing in between all that really keeps it, and much could be said when you look at this drawing, one of my student drawings, or any of the drawings, and you can see that I have always worked within that realm. And it makes it more difficult, but that's the name of the game. And then again, there's certain things that you don't want to put in there, obviously, like you can see,
It's looking fabulous.
like where that's the part, the little easel that the coat is hanging on.
Oh, got it.
And I think the white tag would be annoying. You don't need that there. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was left out on purpose. So
Fabulous. Thank you. I'm speechless. Really, it's looking so amazing.